Welcome to Browns Film Breakdown, where we have a show on the off day in Berea. So we're going to get into some different topics. The Browns did make some roster moves that we want to hit on. A player with a lingering injury that we've been wondering the status, updated us, and we're going to talk about that, update received, and then revisit some of our, transition players here on the roster that we talked about identified in the preseason as guys who needed to establish themselves to be a part of the next wave of the Browns. So now, like a third of the games in, we want to have a discussion, a check-in on where some of those names stand. So we're going to do that, and then we're going to have a comprehensive defense breakdown for those of you who support us as subscribers at Browns Film Breakdown. That will be available for you at the website or in your Substack app, right? So a subtle reminder, or not so subtle, to tell somebody you know about Browns Film Breakdown. If you're a podcast listener, come over and give us a try. See if it enhances your experience with the podcast. We could not be getting more positive feedback about getting the ad-free podcast every day, the extended podcasts that go beyond the surface, and obviously the film rooms and opening drives and all of the like. We love what's going on at Browns Film Breakdown. Even though the team's struggling, we are covering this as well as I think anybody in the market, giving you the answers for what's going on. So between myself and Brad, who's with me on the show today, I think we're getting some pretty thorough coverage, and you guys are building and making what I think is a fantastic community that we're very proud of passionate Browns fans. We are going to be up in Cleveland this weekend. We're going to be in the Muni lot. We're going to be there at the Slaughterhouse bus, which is right at the front of that thing for a Browns Film Breakdown meetup. So if you are going to be at the game this weekend, Brad will be there. I'll be there. I'm going to go into the game. I haven't been to a game in a while. I think the last game was the Jets game, actually, quite a while ago, that playoff clincher in 23. So I haven't been up to a game in a minute. It's hard for me to cover the game and then do the writing and all of that. But, for a week here, I'll try to enjoy the Browns and get you some coverage when I can. We're going to maybe try to do a live podcast from the Muni lot. I don't know. We got plans, big ambitions. We'll see if it comes together, but we're going to be there from come hang out 9 to 11 and hang out with the Browns Film Breakdown community. I think it's going to be great. So again, that'll be this upcoming Sunday at the Slaughterhouse bus, which you cannot miss it when you walk into the Muni lot. So we're pumped about that, pumped about you being here, and we got a great show for you today. So we're going to get going with that right now with a reminder. It's brought to you by FanDuel Sportsbook and Monfredi Dental. Let's get going right now. Guys, what's up? What's happening? Welcome into today's show. It is your Wednesday, October 15th, tax day version. If you put your taxes off, you better get them done today, folks. Just a reminder in case it's lingering for you. That's today. Other than that, we got a great podcast between Brad and myself ready to go here, where we are going to talk about a topic that's been on my mind for the last few days, kind of into the end of the Vikings game and into the week last week, about this slew of players that I wrote about in the preseason who are guys who needed to really make the most of their opportunity this year to be a part of the next wave. The Browns have a ton of draft capital right now. I don't know, Brad, probably odds on that they get more of it in the next 30 days with the trade deadline. I think the
feels like it.
Percentage of guys getting moved or something like, then let alone the offseason where more things can happen. I think that capital is going to go up. The roster youth revolution's happening 13, 14, depends on who's active for the game and who's not, who's called up from the practice squad. A lot of bodies have been brought up, and at times you get up to 14 rookies active on game day between UDFAs and drafted guys. It's a youth movement, but also inside a youth movement, if you want to rebuild on the fly, you could use a core of veterans and you could use a core of transition players who are kind of those first wave contract guys getting into maybe that important second contract. Doesn't have to break the bank, but an important second contract, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. We're going to spend a solid amount of time on that, but we do have some roster news, some updates on signings and practice squad, and I think there's the David Bell news too. We should hit on all that. Brad, do you have it?
I do. So David Bell is retired. He's on the retired reserve list now, but he's decided to retire based on his injury. And he had a little letter. I don't have the letter. But he thanked the Cleveland fans and basically said that in his next stage of football, he would like to use, he would like to continue doing something with football, basically.
Yeah.
But that in order to continue to play, it would put his life at risk, is what he said. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like a surgical complication. I think he had a dislocated hip because the hip thing his injury was weird.
Yeah.
at the end of the 24 season, and it didn't seem like anything crazy happened. Now, like when I was coaching, Brad, I had a kid who made a cut, just a regular route on air, and his femur snapped. Like just the biggest bone and it just snapped. Like so weird things happen. There was Tua had a hip issue. Remember when he was at Alabama, he had that big hip thing come up?
Yep.
The hip stuff can happen, and it sounds like something around the surgery, the way it was going to heal or something was going to give him long-term life-threatening issues if he kept taking hits of that variety. That's what I deduced from it.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder that any of these, and we're walking in this world, the Browns are walking in this world times two with JOK. Like there's clearly a desire from JOK to keep playing, or he would have made the same announcement. I think he's seeking whatever remedy he can to get the approval of doctors to still play. My hunch is that he's been told, we can't clear you because of this. Something is seriously off there. So like, this is the same thing. We just kept wondering, you and I, in the preseason and into the regular season when they put the roster out, and I was like, what's up with Bell? We never heard anything. He's just kind of on the list here, the NFI list or whatever. Or there's probably a right name for that list. I just said incorrectly, but non-football injury list, or no, it was a football injury. So it was just, I think he was placed on like reserve retire or something like that. So we had a camera cut out on me mid-show. We adjust on the fly. We figure it out. Back to the FaceTime camera that comes on this MacBook. So probably good for me to be a little less crisp on the visual side, to be honest, as we say. But we're talking about David Bell, and Brad and I were confused about where he was to start the year, like what's going on. He got hurt in week 2 last year, so it was very strange what was happening there. And we weren't hearing any updates, as you don't hear any updates. Same way with JOK, we won't hear any updates. We'll just get a final decision like, oh, he's going to play again or he's not going to play again. It's not like we're getting any trend lines or anything. But the situation is that since he had the surgery and the complications came from the surgery and it lingered because of that, he was on the NFI list. Now he converts to the retired list, obviously, and that will work itself out from there. But yeah, I mean, I remember him coming out. I thought it was a peculiar pick. It was a production pick. Had a good career at Purdue, put up some good numbers, had some wild acrobatic catches, ball tracking at the level. I think we were all concerned back in our OBR days when we were breaking this one down about like the athlete wasn't very good. The testing wasn't very strong. And that gave us some pause and a little cause for concern. And I would say that lingered into his pro career. He was never very explosive, didn't create much, and he wasn't a very big guy either. No. So those were the issues that stemmed.
It was I thought there was a lot of like Jarvis Landry comparisons there because the 40 time was down. Yeah. But he was a very, like, at Purdue, I remember saying like, I can almost remember word for word my draft breakdown on him was like, he's a nuanced receiver. Like, he gets the ins and out of routes. He runs routes the right way. He's nuanced at the catch point. He's got great hand-eye coordination and that kind of stuff. And that kind of makes up for the RAS score, the athleticism overall. Can he be productive in the NFL? And he never really was. It was weird when he got hurt. He started off on fire that year. Do you recall that in that game?
Yeah,
he was very good.
I mean, he had some good moments in 23. He had the game-winning catch against the Jags where they busted a coverage and he was wide open.
He just sat down.
Yeah, I think Flacco hit him on that one, and then he had one in the San Francisco game too, a really big catch. He was listed at like 6'2", 200, but he never felt that big to me. Never played that big.
Thin.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So his college career, he had an unbelievably strong freshman season where he had a 86, 1,035, and 7 touchdowns. And then he got hurt his second year, only played 6 games, but same trend line, 53 catches, 625, and 8 touchdowns in only 6 games. And then his senior year, he went for 1,395 catches. He was very productive for Purdue and had some nice moments even against Ohio State, if I recall. He was a good football player. He just never quite panned out because of, I think, the athletic limitations, and he didn't play above his size physically. He wasn't, a passionate blocker, any of that stuff. So like, if this happens to so many guys, just nice college football player that just can't quite cut it in the league. And obviously we hope for the best for him and his transition to whatever he wants to do. Right. Like, I mean, I saw JT Barrett helping Caleb Williams out on the sideline the other day, right?
Yeah.
Like these guys who have good college careers who convert into coaching, and he'll do that. He's always a good listen. He's an insightful guy too. So yeah, it'll work out for him. I'm sure
Yeah,
of it.
he'll find his way into the game or a place for him in coaching if he wants to, or
Mhm.
even the media if he wants to do that. But he's a nice guy.
Yeah.
Feel like he's a class act. So yeah,
Ends with
we'll see.
41 catches, 408 yards, 3 touchdowns at the NFL level. Be interesting to see. You kind of got to play a certain amount of time in the league to get some of those benefits for medical insurance and stuff for life, and I think they'll make that work for him. I would imagine. Yeah,
You would think so.
he had a
He
the
thinks
23
so.
season. He had a 4 so the final game of the year against the Bengals, and it was kind of a throwaway game there before the playoffs started. But he had 4 catches, 68 yards.
Yeah.
So that was kind of like one of his bigger games. Bunch of 1 catch kind of performances. Let me see. I just want to make sure we close out him, give him some proper due. He had 3 catches, 27 in that Jacksonville game at Jacksonville that they won in 24, but that was it. That was the injury game, and yeah, because I remember Wright tore his pec in that one as well. A couple guys.
It was
got
early
dinged
in the
up.
game he got hurt too.
He sure did. Yeah, Bell. Yeah, he sure did. So, yeah. So it's interesting because a lot of the stuff that you're getting here is because of surgical complication would have made a life-threatening play football. His lawyer told him. So there might be something going on with some sort of issue happen that he's going to try to take some action on that maybe cost him. So I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn, but
yeah,
all the best to David Bell. All the best. And maybe don't spend your time like attacking, like using his retirement to retweet it, quote tweet it, and say the Browns can't draft wide receivers. Maybe try to avoid that. Just a thought.
Yeah, I think that's a nice thing to do.
It's like the hardest moment for him, probably giving up football. Yeah. Zadarius Smith also walked away from the game. I don't know if you saw that. He retired just a couple days ago.
That is shocking.
Yeah, so 2 straight years Andrew Berry has moved off of guys that they got good production from, clearly, but they retire that are done within the next 365 days. So it's interesting. Nothing else.
Good timing. All right, so the Browns also made some roster moves besides David Bell, and which is the major news there. But so Trey Avery was the guy that they kind of snuck onto the practice squad and immediately started bringing him up to the, like, soon as he was on the practice squad, they started bringing him up. And for 3 straight weeks, I think, since he arrived,
very active.
He has been active. And he's been playing special teams. He has 5 special teams tackles in his 3 games. So he's done well. I know he's been in the mix on special teams. They like what he provides there.
34 special team snaps so far. Like you said, 5 tackles, 1 solo, 4 assisted. Has been a pretty big part of things across the board there. So, yeah.
So they're signing him to the active roster because they want him up for this week, and you can't. 3 is the max. 4, you got to sign him. So he's earned that contract in their opinion. So he's going to be on the active roster pretty much as a special teams ace and a reserve corner. I don't know how he is in coverage at all, but
let's hope he doesn't find the field in coverage.
Dom has found the field a few times in coverage, but only for like a one-off play here or there, right?
Yeah. So, not anything consistent yet. So nothing to report there, but we're still hopeful.
We're
still hopeful
that he gets his shot. The team also signed linebacker Eugene Asante, a linebacker. Yeah, I already said that, a linebacker. I don't know anything about him. Oh, I do. No, I know something about him. He's 6'1", 226 in his rookie season out of Auburn. He was originally signed as an undrafted free agent by Miami. He'll wear number 36 at linebacker.
Okay.
Weird.
All right.
And defensive tackle Simeon Barrow Jr., which actually, to me, kind of sounds like a good defensive tackle. That doesn't mean he's gonna be, but that's a good defensive tackle's name sounds like. I don't know.
I would agree with
Wait,
that. I would
do we
agree with
know
that.
this guy from something?
I don't know him from anything. He's in his
Okay.
rookie year, also out of Miami,
Yeah.
with Atlanta. I don't know if he was on. These guys were sticking around practice squads. I don't know. I'm not totally sure. Eugene Asante from Dane's draft guide was his 17th ranked linebacker with a
Okay.
5th, 6th round grade on him. He's at his best downhill, senses what's coming, trusts his eyes, fits run gaps. He can be a disruptor as a blitzer. At times, his over aggressive play will create some unfavorable angles, but has got some ball skill production that isn't very good there either. But if he can avoid some of those zealous mistakes, Dane
Yeah.
says he's got a good combination of speed, energy, competitive toughness that finds a way to an NFL roster. I mean, he's a 4.48 guy. That's a great linebacker time.
It's impressive.
6'4", 223 at combine. 10-yard split of 157, short shuttle 427. Yeah, he's a pretty good athlete. So definitely understand the swing on that one. And again, I wouldn't expect many of us to know much about these guys. So it's
No.
it's a little tricky. But he did play in the preseason. Eugene did. He did across 3 games in Miami. The grades were fine. He had 9 tackles. So we'll maybe pull some highlights if I can find some, talk about him. But yeah, there you go.
Yeah, and
Eugene Asante.
Borrow. Yeah, Asante, and then Borrow, my guy. I like his name. I think he sounds like a stud.
Is he on borrowed time though? That's the question.
That's the question.
Heyo.
Hey.
So this is not one Dane liked very much. Simeon Barrow
Okay.
Jr., 43rd ranked defensive tackle. He has a UDFA grade on him. Said he flashes some linear bursts to close on the ball, especially on tight stunts that create rush lanes. Compactly built, doesn't have ideal height or length to stay square taking on blocks, but he carries power behind his pads, and he's got a high adrenaline level, so he plays hard. Undersized, competitive player who can free himself from blocks with scrappy mentality, which leads to effort-based production against both the run and pass. He's a 4'8", 940 guy at 6'1" and some change, 283. Kind of similar in size to Aiden Huntington, for being honest.
Yeah, 283.
That same, almost a similar weight. So,
he's going to wear number 58.
Oh, okay. All right.
There you go.
I haven't looked at the practice squad. So Barrow, is a 905 RAS guy, relative athletic score. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Just as far as, looking at what they are as athletes. Eugene Asante did not have enough qualifying information, but obviously he's not 6'4". I said that incorrectly. He's more 6 foot, right around the 6 foot range, 223. So he's on the lighter and shorter side of linebacker comparisons, but the 40 time is very elite. So he can definitely move. So take that for what it's worth, folks. When you look at his information, and we did get a little bit more because we got his shuttle. His shuttle was 417, which was really good at his pro day. 715 cone, which is above average. So he's an 8.4 RAS guy. So two good athletes, 2 young players. They want to keep taking shots at some of these young players, getting them on the practice squad. And like I said, they released Joshua Miles, a tackle, from the practice squad. I don't have any memory of them adding him. So they are not having any success and feeling optimistic about some of these
about the tackle
practice squad guys that they are bringing in. And we had someone in our founders chat. Who was that today? Posted a very detailed list of players around the league. I got to give them credit where credit is due. I'm scrolling up, so don't hate me on this one, guys. Just trying to find. There's so much good conversation that happens in here. If you want just Browns banter nonstop, this is the place to go to get your information.
And other banter.
It's a whole bunch of fun stuff that happens in here throughout the day. Okay, Mike W. did a great job. He started his conversation. He says, who has 2 thumbs and just combed through all practice squads to see what offensive tackles are poachable? He said, do not recommend that exercise. Tough times. 3 former Browns currently on practice squads around the league. Gutierrez is in New England. I think he went back there. Jerron Christian, who started some games for the Browns, is in Dallas. And Zaire, the who was a part of the International Pathway Program, is now in San Francisco. Carter Warren is in Atlanta, who's not been connected to the Browns, just a name of note. Showed a little promise in his rookie year with the Jets and then sort of disappeared, Mike said. So there you go. That's it. That's what Mike found. Just wanted to give you guys that update.
Well, the one name that always sticks out is Christian.
Familiarity, and they like to bring their guys back. I'm counting as you talk. 1, 2, 5, 6. Let me see. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Unless this is wrong, there's still a player short, and maybe they haven't updated this yet.
Yeah.
Tyree Phillips is labeled as a tackle, so he's around still.
Yep.
All right.
It
Yeah,
feels
they're
like
one
they're
short.
One player short. They're
They're
going to bring
still
in
an
a
opening.
tackle.
They have
They're
to.
looking, I would
Right
imagine.
now, we see Ladarius Henderson as a tackle out of Michigan, and Tyree Phillips, who plays who tickles the keys.
Oh, really?
Piano player. Yeah, they had him out there doing a little social media hit. He was playing the piano. Played some piano real quick. So yeah. Anyway, the tackle stuff is bleak. It remains bleak, and I still think even if we acquire somebody off of a practice squad, it'll still be bleak.
Yep.
Tough times. Better draft them. Tough to find these guys. We also still have no update on Cam Robinson or Jack Conklin. We'll see.
Tuesdays are quiet generally.
Very quiet. Yeah, I feel like if there was something serious, it would have been probably announced today that there was some sort of like long-term issue for Cam or Jack or whatever. But let's get to this article where we break down some of these players. Well, so again, these are. Do you have something else? Did I forget?
I do.
What you got?
I do. Just to take a half a second here.
Give it to us.
Wait, I have not taken time with all of the changes on the roster to examine this as closely as we are right now. But boy, has our cornerback room changed since the offseason.
Yeah, we're about to talk about that because there's a couple names on this list of guys that we were hoping would be a part of the next wave who.
I mean, but if they had an injury, so it's Denzel, Tyrese Campbell, and Miles Harden are your starters.
Tyson. Like Tyson. Yeah. Don't get the Tyrese.
Did I say Tyrese?
Yeah. Sure did, Brad.
No.
Strike
one.
I
didn't.
I'm not going to lie to you. The audio will tell us the story, brother.
There's no way I said Tyrese Campbell. Did I really?
You did.
Right. Well, that's awful. I can't believe I did that. Denzel Ward, Tyson Campbell, Miles Harden, Nickelback. Those are your three. Now, if you got into your depth, it goes Trey Avery, Jarek Bernard Converse, and our guy Dom Jones.
It's bleak.
Wow.
Bleak.
That has changed a lot from what we thought when we had Emerson, Newsome, Ward, Harden, and his name is escaping me now. He actually got elevated for somebody and played this week.
Cam Mitchell.
Cam Mitchell.
Elevated quickly. We'll see. Keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on that. I'm with you. The cornerback room has changed immensely, which is the perfect segue to our discussion on like these transition players and like looking at the situation they'd be coming into this year. And I thought if enough of them performed well, even if you didn't meet the standard of wins you were hoping for, you still feel optimistic about the middle class of your roster, right? Not the rookies, not the cheap ones, not the over the top expensive ones, but the middle class. Let's just go through these names and share whether we're interested in continuing the relationship. I think that's early. We're just looking at trends. Let this year play out. We're going to see where they're at, but obviously we want to discuss them. The first is Alex Wright, who's in the final year of his contract, his rookie contract. And I mean, I think he's playing some really good football. He's not the world's most skilled pass rusher. He has 6 pressures on the year. He's only rushed the passer 93 times, so a little bit under Isaiah McGuire, rotating those two kind of in the same way. But he's a hell of a run defender. He plays strong at the point of attack.
He plays hard.
He plays hard. He's got the third highest grade on the team. Feels very Emmanuel Ogba like. And I had someone point that out to me last week, that trade that the Ravens made, right, sending Odafe Owe over to LA, the Chargers, for a safety in return, kind of felt like Ogba getting traded for Eric Murray. Very similar. And I feel like this is a player you have to find a middle ground second contract, 2 or 3 years in the Hubbard range, Sam Hubbard type. That's a similar player to me. He's doing a nice job. And I think he's come on strong in the past few weeks. Like he's been getting better. So
gotten better every year, and especially of late.
Yeah.
He looks like a trusted piece of that rotation that you want around for another 3-4 years. That's how I feel.
I do too. I think there's a pathway to another contract for him. He's a good part of the rotation here that I don't think you can just draft middle rounds and hope you find something similar, because I understand that teams try to do that. Yeah. So I'm interested in extending the relationship with Wright based on what we've seen so far. Third highest collective grade, only 6 pressures, but he's converted 2 to sack, and I think has done a nice job this year. So the other one is Isaiah McGuire. Now, Isaiah has another year on his rookie contract, so that matters. But you are trying to solve, like, hey, who's going to be the edge, opposite of Miles long term? You're looking at both of those guys. He's in the third year of his deal, so there's no pressure. But you are starting to talk about, like, what's, like, if your guy's really good, he's 24 years old, and Wright is only 25. Like, there's an extension conversation that can happen before your final year. So, yeah, go ahead.
I think you should do.
I'm interested in it.
McGuire. I think it would behoove them to have that. And we've seen Barry do this in the past. Now, it's a projection, but if you feel strongly enough about a player, I feel pretty strongly about Isaiah McGuire sticking around here. And potentially what he can be opposite Miles. So, or at least like platooning Wright, and the combination of Wright and McGuire as your future tandem. They're
competent.
With Miles.
They're competent defensive ends. I believe that.
But so for McGuire, though, who I think has a higher upside than Alex Wright, probably. I don't know if you agree with that or not, but
well, I do. I think they're similar. They're both long athletes, big guys, the type of build you like in this front. Yeah, man, I'm with you. Wright technically has a higher pass rush grade, but in 103 pass rush snaps versus 90, there's only 10 more pass rush snaps for McGuire. He has double the amount of pressures. So, again, I think they're just the ideal third and fourth defensive ends. I would love for them to get another talented, maybe even more talented than those two, but that's a difficult space to live in when you look at how teams structure deals. A lot of the depth edge players are on 1 years, and like sorting that out. If you're asking me right now, who do I want to give that long-term one to? I don't fully know yet. I like a lot of what both of them have done. The good thing about McGuire is you're not necessarily in a giant hurry to get there, whereas Wright, you kind of want to start having those discussions because you don't want to let him hit free agency if you want him around your building, right?
Yeah. So maybe you do wait on McGuire, but I was going to say in the past, Barry, if feels strongly enough about him, he'll come. This would be the offseason. He starts to have conversations with him because he wants to get him on a cheaper deal than what he could potentially play himself into in his final year of his contract.
I'm with it. I'm interested in extending both of those guys in some fashion, but we'll see how the last 10, 11 games here goes, right? The next one's Cedric Tillman, 25-year-old, third year of his rookie contract. It's hard. I mean, I think there's a talented football player in here, but he cannot stay healthy. It's 3 years. Like, when he's gotten on the field, concussion ended his 23 season. Concussion ends his 24 season, and now a hamstring injury, I think, that has put him on IR this year. It's just hard to prove your worth. Like, at this point, they don't, like I said, the guys who are in their third year of their 4-year rookie deals, because they're not first-round picks. So the guys who are in those spots, you're not cutting them like right in this offseason, or like they're going to be around another year. But what you want to see is them sort of carve their, by your third year in the league, carve out who you are, show us what we like, so that you had an idea by the end of the year. Do we need to draft another wide receiver, or do we feel, at the time I wrote this, it's like, well, Judy's going to continue to maybe get better, put himself in that tier that he needs to get into for them. And is Cedric Tillman your second receiver? I leave it now where I'm currently at, worried that Tillman's got a future here because he can't stay on the field.
Yeah.
On top of, now Judy kind of feels more like a second target than a first target. So
yeah,
that speaks to where we're at with receiver. But I think Tillman had a great opener. I thought he was really good against the Bengals.
Yeah.
But then it disappeared a little bit. Then he had a really sloppy game against the Ravens and gets hurt in the third one. And it's like, it's very much up in the air. It's probably like 80-20. It's hard to envision there being a relationship after that first contract at this point.
Yeah, I would say that I think he'll have the opportunity to come back this year and change our minds on that. So, he should get the second half of the season if he can stay healthy to prove that he is a guy that deserves to be here long term, or at least get us feeling better about that going into his final year of his deal. Either way, he's going to have to earn it in his fourth year, it feels like.
Agreed. DeJuan Jones is the next one. Third year of his rookie contract, 24 years old. Another injury situation, can't stay healthy. And I don't feel like it's fair to blame. I thought he worked his butt off to get into a better physical condition this year. And I thought he had some moments in the early part of the year. He's still very inconsistent, especially in the run game. The effort gets under my skin sometimes.
Yeah.
But he's certainly be welcome back on the field right now with what they're placing out there at tackle. And the injury he had was a dirty play that's banned from the league, and it should have been flagged. So it's bad luck, but also, now you're back in another injury. It's just, it's hard to envision. I don't have a good feeling about this one. I just don't have a good feeling for where it's going. So
the only way you'll bring him back again.
Yeah, he's got another year. They'll try it again.
Rehab again. He's gonna try to extend his career somewhere.
He should.
So you'll bring him back again and use him. Hopefully, he's a depth piece. I would hope he's not your starting tackle next year, because that's not a great place to be, in my opinion.
No.
At this point, he should be, but I'm fine with him being your backup tackle or swing tackle.
He's got experience at both of those positions in the league. Can he form? The question I think for DeJuan, to me, Brad, is can he form a Cornelius Lucas type of career where he's station to station? Maybe it's with the Browns for a while. Maybe the two sides mutually part ways down the road later on, but he's backup spots starting both tackle positions when teams need him. That's probably a great ceiling for him at this point. Yeah. It's not like, I know going into this year, we're like, can he solidify himself as the left tackle or right tackle of the future?
Yeah, that's
hard to get there, but
you're gonna miss me with that now.
Yeah, can he be a Chris Hubbard type? Maybe a big body who can start inside, kind of like Mekhi Becton has transitioned to that in his later career here. So, yeah, that's where he's at, and they'll get, like you said, they got another year. They're not forcing him off the roster. It's very likely he makes it again. Just depends on how he handles the rehab, as well. Right,
he comes back in shape, and he could fill that one of your backup tackle roles. I would like to have two guys. I think it's crazy to go into a season anymore without two guys that you feel really good about as your backup, because look at where we end up. Every year it feels like we end up into our depth at that position.
Yeah, we keep saying
it would help if our starters weren't, aging out. But so that'll change as well. But
glass houses, as they call them.
Yeah. So I mean, I think there's a place for him here. But I don't think you can depend on him until he puts an entire year of healthy football together. I think, if you were going to say, hey, he looks great, he's going to start at left tackle, I'd be like, I can't depend on him to make it through the entire season. So
Yep.
until he goes a whole season without getting hurt. So fine with him as a backup. I would, would keep him around even if he wanted to stay, if he can prove that he can be a swing, you know, reserve or whatever. But I think you nailed it when you said, can he find a career as a substitute tackle where you need me? There's plenty of, I mean, he'll start plenty of games in the NFL if he can do that.
Agreed. Yeah, and there's value to that even here.
Yeah.
Martin Emerson was the final year of his rookie contract. We've kind of talked about this since the injury, so we don't need to go too deep into it. Yeah.
So sad. I am such a fan of Emerson. I know you're not as much as far as the player goes,
Well, yeah, you're like in this universe they operate in more so. I like him as a player. I actually am interested if there's an opportunity for him to try to convert to a safety. I'm curious about that because he can hit. He's a willing hitter. He can break on the football. He can play downhill. I mean, I'm interested in that because I don't know that he's going to be twitched up enough, and especially coming off this injury.
Yeah.
First of all, I don't know if they want to do this. Maybe there's not another year for him here. Maybe they let him test the market and he goes somewhere else and whatever. But I'm just interested in like how the Steelers were using Jalen Ramsey. Like, I'm not saying that's the same player by any stretch, but like movement, different positions, letting him be more of a different, sort of player in the back half than what he traditionally has done as a stock corner. So
yeah,
that's where I'm interested in. I wonder if there's any interest from the Brown side in that too.
Yeah, I mean, I would be intrigued with that because I think he's a playmaker and he's a gamer, and I like what he brings, like attitude wise, to your defense. When Joe Woods last year when he was a rookie, I kept saying all year that year, like, if this defense would just take on the mentality of Martin Emerson, they'd be so much more better off. Like, he's so in your face, like, I just love his mentality and what he brings to a defense.
Yeah.
He brings an edge.
And it doesn't feel phony either. He's got a
it's realistic
confidence and moxie about him.
Yeah.
I'm
There's
with
some
it.
dog in there, and I like that about him. And I've always been an Emerson fan. I hate what happened to him.
Me too. Next is Greg Newsome. We know what happened there. We don't need to revisit it. We know Tyson Campbell, not Tyrese Campbell. Tyson Campbell will be back for another year in 26. We'll see if Campbell can be a part of the future. I'm hopeful. It'd be great to get him under another couple years, 2 or 3 years, this type of situation from his current deal.
He can be serviceable as opposite to Denzel for a couple of years.
Yeah, I think so too. Next is a couple UDFAs. Well, first is Mahmoud Diabate, who has just had up and down moments the last 2 years, stepping in, filling in for injured play. He just has not had a very good return from the, a quad injury they finally told us that caused him to miss an entire month of camp, and he fell behind Devin Bush and Schlesinger and Jerome Baker. They're trying to still get him involved here and there, but you watch the defense film, there's a couple moments where I'm like, he looks lost. And I'm just like, it's not trending in a way that doesn't, like, I don't feel like they can replace him in some variety. The one that's interesting is Devin Bush, who's playing really good football for them. And like, so I'm not as optimistic about Diabate, who I like. I think he's a good dude and very athletic and a good football body, but there's some processing things that I don't like. I think he's getting buried a little bit here, and I don't know that there's a giant pathway to much here that the way I thought.
Year right now?
He's in year 3. So UDFA contracts are the 3-year variety, so it moves pretty quick. So they could exclusive rights tender him. There's some things they can do. Yeah, we'll see. But
I don't mind him as a depth piece there, I guess. How is he on special teams? I don't know.
Fine. He's a good athlete. I mean, it's fine. It's just like, what are you giving some of these guys to keep them, like, is he taking a vet minimum or something? You know what I mean? I don't know.
That's all I'm talking about. Is just keeping him around to keep him around.
I wouldn't be opposed. I wouldn't be opposed to it at all. But the exclusive rice tender stuff comes when you're in. You got to be under 3 accrued seasons, so he's on the pathway. It was a bummer that he missed so much time leading up to the year. Ronnie Hickman though is the other one,
Yeah,
and that's trending in a great direction. I mean, Hickman is just you don't talk much about him because there's not really much that goes on around him. It's not his fault. A lot of throws are on the perimeter and quick, and
yeah,
I don't have a problem with any of the way he's playing. It's not like hero ball stuff out here, but as far as total snaps go, he leads the team in total snaps by 7 over Schlesinger. He's on the field all the time.
pretty
He's
solid.
just kind of steady. 358 snaps, 70 grade, fine in run defense, fine in coverage, but they don't stress him a ton. He doesn't get a ton of quarters, looks, and things like that. But for the start of this year, he's been out there. They like him, and he's doesn't make crippling mistakes. And that's a part of playing safety in the deep portion of the field so often is that can you do that? If you don't get a bunch said about you, you're not you're doing your job for the most part. Now, would we like him to be a bit more ball hockey? Would we like him to be turnover creator and some of these other things? Yeah, but I think again with this defense and how teams get around the football coming out quick to save, it's hard for him to get much action. It's hard. So
I will tell you, I've seen a lot of times with him. The only time like it really stands out to me is like he makes a lot of tackles that save touchdowns. It feels like it's like somebody breaks through, but he's right there, and he seems to be a pretty sure tackler as your last line of defense. Like I don't think we've seen a lot of like big runs broken for like 80 yards.
Yeah,
because he's kind of there to clean up at the last line, and I mean that's kind of a big deal. So
it is. I'd be curious to see after the year what their opinion is of him to keep it going in that direction it's gone so far, because he's tied to Schwartz since he arrived. He made the damn roster as a UDFA. He played early because of Thornhill's inability to stay on the field, right? So, I mean, I'm interested in what this can potentially be as far as an extension goes. I don't really know. I don't really know, but I think there's a chance. Like, you can't pay everybody giant money, right? And you can't draft young guys all the time. So he's played, like last year, he played only 463 snaps. He's trending toward like 1,000 snap season.
Yeah.
Last year he played, he played a good number of snaps early in the season. That number dwindled at certain points in the middle of the year as Thornhill got healthy again, and they were trying to sort out Rodney McLeod's role and some stuff like that. But this year he's on track to have quite a few snaps. He also missed some time with an injury last year too. I think he missed weeks 6 through 9. Nice. I think that's the ones he missed. So he didn't play week 10, but that might have been their bye week last year, week 10. But yeah, I mean, I think he's going to get upward of 800 snaps at this point, right? If he's at 350 and we're a third of the way through the year, he's going to get a high volume. He's their leading snap guy. So they like him enough to keep playing him. So there's a decent probability that it's going to happen again. They're going to keep him around and try to figure out a pathway. So, that's it. That's the guys. There's some good things here. It feels like injuries have killed a lot of this. I mean, even Diabate, I'm contributing a lot of that to missing time in camp and an injury and kind of getting passed by some guys, so a lot of these are not even like this guy can't play, right? Like Tillman can play, just hurt. Dewan Jones has moments. He's hurt. Martin Emerson, we know he can play. He's hurt. And Newsom is traded, right? So it's possible. Did I skip one?
Njoku.
Oh, we did. That's actually a big one. I don't know.
Final year of second contract.
He is the final year of his second contract.
Yeah.
I don't know where it goes. He's going to be 30. He's not the same athlete he used to be. He's not, and even though he's gotten bigger, and I'm talking like, I don't want to call him out of shape here. As all of this is relative to like but compared to football player bodies and what he has looked like before,
yeah,
he's put on some LBs. I mean, like, go watch him doing the pregame chant stuff that's on Instagram. I'm not making it up. Go look at him in 2021, 22. Even if the Browns like told him, hey, you need to bulk up a little bit for run game, that's not bulk. That's like some DoorDash stuff going on there. And I'm like, I just don't know how you can invest another decent contract in that player if they're like, what is he giving you that Harold Fannin cannot? He's not. Now listen, Harold's struggling in run blocking too, but this is expected. Like, I would try to pair Harold Fannin up with somebody who's an ass-kicking run blocking tight end that you either draft, like a Spencer Hawes type in Buffalo right now, or somebody on the market that's out there that is willing to come in and block like crazy. David hasn't done that well blocking. He's slower than he's been. He's not as twitchy, and he never was very twitchy. He was more of a rangy athlete, long strides, jump over you. Some of it's still there. He still makes those acrobatic plays, like we saw the hurdle in week 5 and the jump catch, but like, it's not as frequent. It's not as overwhelming as it used to be either, where like, go back to some of those Baker throws early in his career where he was just climbing the ladder on people and just was a freak to defend
anything around him.
100%, man. And it's just not there anymore. He's regressed physically. And I think that although you like the pillar, he's been here nearly a decade, brother. He came here at 21. He's 29. Been here a long time. And
I think there's a conversation to listen. Here's where I'm at. He's 29, right? You said
he is 29. Yep.
There's a conversation to be had with him about like what he's doing with his body. That's a whole nother thing between him and the team, right? Do I think that the quarterback play has hindered his like production? Yes. I don't think he gets targeted as often as he probably should be in an offense that uses him right. I mean, we've said that since day one. Since day one of him being on the Browns, people have been like, why don't they use Njoku more? Even when Mayfield was here.
Yeah.
That was always a narrative. Because he was a weapon for years. And I think we saw him at his very best in the 4 Flacco games that we saw. He was unstoppable in 23, right? Like,
yeah. I just don't like how he looks physically compared to who he used to be that made him special and made him a guy you wanted to pay
I get that.
Healthy money too. I just wonder what number he's looking for in this upcoming, where's he going and what number is he looking for?
What is he looking for? And is he like, hey, I know I was out of shape this year. I'm going to get back to, the guy that took his shirt off before warm-ups in the freezing cold like he did every day. I mean, dude went out and played after he was in a house fire with a rubber mask under his helmet.
He did. I mean, he's done a lot of great things. I would love for him to retire a Brown and go through the whole thing if he's willing. But they also are needing to be cap conscious of this stuff. Yeah. So it's going to be a tricky negotiation. I don't feel like there's been enough good play from him to put this immense pressure on to talk in season. It feels like a conversation in the off season before he tests the free agent market. He might also want to test and see what else is out there for him too, just to try to play somewhere else because,
he wanted out at one point.
He did. And again, like, the Browns could give him a number, let him test free agency, and if he doesn't get anywhere near that number, maybe he comes back.
Come on back.
I'm very interested in how that negotiation plays out, especially because he's viewed himself as a very important person in Cleveland and the organization a long time. But does he have the yearning because of how frustrated most years have been here to try somewhere else? So I'm interested in. And I think the Browns planned for that possible outcome, would be my guess, by drafting Fannin as they did.
Yeah.
That's a thought I have about it. But all right, that's the guys. Those are fun to take a look at. Injuries in football make the job of a general manager hard about, do you keep a guy? Do you let him go? What can a player control? What can they not control? It's all very hard to weigh, because if you look at like let these guys all play, you get pretty clear answers when they're playing.
Yeah.
But when you don't and they're missing time and all of that, it's tough. And that's what's going on here with a lot of this list. And I know David's going to be
guys.
David's going to be banged up this week too, because he took some shots.
Boy,
so
he did take a beating this week.
Yeah. Anyway, that's it. We're going to wrap it up, and then we're going to jump over to do comprehensive breakdown real quick. Make sure you check out again the video breakdown of the defense. I think that tells you so much more, and it's good parallel to this upcoming. But the audio stuff is good too, because I just give you some perspective on what I view, and it's kind of sad. I like watching other offenses right now. I get more joy out of watching the opposing offense against the Browns. And the defense isn't bad. Like, they're playing them tough, but like, oh, that's a fun wrinkle. I like that. That's an interesting way to go about,
yeah,
sad, tough. So yeah, hang out, check that out. Thanks again to FanDuel. Thanks again to Monfredi Dental, just south of Hilliard. Fantastic dental office, great people, great service. Take most insurance carriers as well. So if you are in the greater Columbus area, and you want as highly recommended a dentist office as you can find, visit the fine folks at Monfredi Dental today. All right. That's it for Brad and I on this bit. If you are sticking around for the podcast continuation from the subscriber side, we'll see you in a moment. If not, we will catch you on your Thursday episode, where we will visit with a Dolphins guest and get you all the information from the first practice of week 7. We're in week 7. So big stuff coming. Reminder again about the Browns Film Breakdown meetup in the Muni Lot, Slaughterhouse Bus. Hope to see you there from 9 to 11. Just stop by and say hello. That'd be great. Good to see everybody that is affiliated with us. So for Brad and I, thanks for being here. We'll catch you in a minute, or as we say, go Browns.